do the strangest things by Lenora and Arthur Hornblow. Illustrations by Michael K. Frith. Narrated by Alfred Touche. Never thirsty. There are great deserts of sand in Arabia and Africa. They are hot and dry. Water holes are far apart. Men could not get far on the desert without help. But they have the help of the camel. The camel can carry a man and a heavy load, and the camel does not mind living in the desert. This is because he can do many strange things that other animals cannot do. Sometimes out in the desert, the wind blows. Then the sand gets into everything. It gets into people's eyes. It gets into their ears and noses. But the sand does not get into the camel's eyes. He has long eyelashes to keep it out. It does not get into his ears. He has hair in his ears to keep it out. And he can just close up his nose. The camel's mouth is not soft like most animals. He can eat spiny desert plants, and he does. The camel has big flat feet. They do not sink into the soft sand. He can walk 30 miles in a day. He can do this without eating or drinking. He can go without food or water for many days. The camel needs food and water, but he does not need them as often as other animals do. When he has food, he eats a lot. He stores it in the hump of his back, on his back. When there is water, he drinks a lot. He stores it in other parts of his body. Then he uses the food and water as he needs them. The camel is not friendly. He does not care about man. But for the people of the desert, he is a very important animal. The king. The lion is called the king of the beasts. He is big and strong. Around his neck there is a great mane of hair. He is the most noble-looking animal of all. But the lion is not the bravest animal. He will never go into a camp where there is a fire, and he runs from anything that flaps in the wind. And the noble lion lets his wife do most of the work. He does help her in one way. He roars. His roar scares other animals. They run away from the lion. They run right toward the lioness.
What's
The lion,
the lioness?
the girl. The lion waits while she does the killing. Then he joins her for dinner. Tallest on earth. Some animals are pretty, others are ugly, but the giraffe is just fantastic. Giraffes have very long, thin legs. They have very, very long necks. Giraffes are the tallest living animals in the world. Thanks to his long neck and his long legs, the giraffe can see everything around him. He can keep a sharp lookout for his enemies. His enemies are lions and leopards. It is strange that the giraffe's enemies often do not see him. The giraffe's skin color helps him to hide. He feeds in the tall trees and grass. If he stands very still, he seems almost like a tree himself. The giraffe fights only if he must. If an enemy comes too near, the giraffe runs away.
I wanted to record.
He is clumsy, but he is very fast. If he has to fight, he uses his long legs and sharp feet. He kicks his enemy. Sometimes he hits his enemy with his strong neck. The giraffe's long neck and legs are a very great help to him. But they are a problem to him, too. Every time he takes a drink of water, he is in trouble. Every time he takes a drink, he is afraid. When they are thirsty, all animals must find a water hole. So must the giraffe. Other animals can drink easily and be on their way, but not the giraffe. For there is a very strange thing about the giraffe. He cannot kneel down to reach the water, and it is hard for him to get his legs apart. He has to do it slowly in stiff, clumsy jerks. This is the only way he can get to the water to drink it. While he is doing this, he cannot run away. He cannot fight. A lion or leopard could kill him easily. So, when he has to drink, he is very careful. He always makes sure that no other animals are near. Cows moo, lions roar, but most giraffes cannot make a sound. You can be very near a lot of giraffes and never know they are there. But they will know that you are there. They might even come over to see you. Giraffes are like many people. They always want to know what is going on. The man-eater. There are many wild animals that kill men. They kill men because they are afraid of them. They do not kill them for food. They do not like the way people taste. But in the jungle, it is not always easy to find animals to kill. Then a tiger may kill a man for food. Not all tigers are man-eaters. Often man-eaters are old tigers, or they may be tigers that have been sick or hurt. They find they are not as strong as they once were. They cannot kill the animals they usually eat. Then they go after people. People are much easier for a tiger to kill than any other animal. A tiger who eats a man learns to like the taste. From then on, he is a man-eater. The happy ones. The water where the sea otters live is cold. There are big waves, but the sea otters don't mind. They love to play in the waves. They chase each other, they race, and they dive for shellfish. When an otter comes up, he doesn't just bring shellfish. He brings a flat rock too. He lies on his back in the water. He puts the rock on his chest. He bangs the shellfish on the rock. He bangs until the shellfish breaks open. Then he can eat the soft meat inside. Sea otters live a wonderful, happy life in the sea. They even sleep in the sea. They just close their eyes and go to sleep on their backs. Living radar. Birds can fly, so can bats, but bats are not birds, they are mammals. They are the only mammals that can fly. Birds' wings are made of feathers. Bats' wings are made of skin. There is skin between their long fingers. When they open their arms, the skin stretches out. Their arms become wings. The little brown bat eats insects. Every year bats eat billions of insects. Because of this, they are good friends to man. Bats sleep in dark caves or lonely barns. They sleep all day, and they sleep in a strange way. They hang upside down. When night comes, they wake up. Then they go out looking for insects. They fly very fast. They catch the insects as they fly. Sometimes women are afraid of bats. They are often afraid that bats will fly into their hair. But this almost never happens. The reason is quite wonderful. As the bat flies, he makes a very high squeak. The sound goes ahead of him. It hits anything in his way. It bounces right back. The bat hears it bounce back. In this way, he knows there is something there. There may be thousands of flying bats in a great black cave. But one bat never bumps into another. There is a saying, blind as a bat. But bats are not blind. They can see with their eyes and they can see with their ears. Playing dead. The possum has a really strange way of keeping himself safe. He makes believe he is dead. Many animals hunt other animals for food. Most of them like to catch their food alive. The possum knows this. When an enemy comes too near, the possum doesn't move. His enemy thinks he is dead. The possum stays still until his enemy goes away. The possum has a wonderful tail. He can pick up things with it. He can hold on to branches with it. The mother possum has a pouch to keep her babies in. She has many babies at once. When they are born, they are tiny. They are hardly alive. They stay in their mother's pouch until they are strong. Then they all ride around on her back. They learn from her how a possum lives. Soon they are big enough to leave her. They are ready to play their own tricks on the rest of the world. The biggest ever. The blue whale is the biggest animal that has ever lived. He lives in the sea, and he looks like a fish, but he is not a fish. Baby whales feed on their mother's milk. Baby fish do not. The whale is a mammal. The blue whale has no teeth. In his mouth there are huge bony brushes. As he swims, the whale takes a big mouthful of water. He closes his mouth.
I have a whale.
The water comes out, but the brushes hold back all the tiny plants and animals that were in the water. The whale swallows them. Then he takes another mouthful. He is always eating. It is strange that the biggest animal on earth eats only the smallest. The mild monster. The gorilla is one of the meanest looking things in the world. Most people think he is as mean as he looks. This is because most people see him only in the zoo. In a zoo, the gorilla is very unhappy. He may try to kill anything that comes close to him. He often tries to break out of his cage. He is very, very strong. This is why a gorilla's cage always has extra strong bars. But in his home, the gorilla is very different. His home is in the mountains and jungles of Africa.